We all love Shadowhunters, but do you know everything there is to know about this series? Wait until you hear some of the biggest facts, including which Shadowhunter had a thing with Taylor Swift. Don't forget to subscribe to The Things and give this video a big thumbs up. Now let's check out the 20 things you didn't know about Shadowhunters. The names. Clary Frey was first called Valerie Freyer, named after the artist who designed the runes. Then Cassandra found out her friend was also writing a book with the main character called Valerie. Clary Frey was actually Cassandra's editor's choice. Her full name was going to be Clarice, but Cassandra then decided on Clarissa, and Max and Isabel are actually named after her grandparents, while Simon and Maya are named after her friends. And like most writers, Cassandra also chose some of the names out of a baby name book. And Luke Garroway got his name because Cassandra thought it sounded like a French word for a werewolf. Fears. Alec is known as the brave and fearless one in the story. He's one of the few openly gay Shadowhunters, and we absolutely love his story. In the books, it's revealed that Alec might actually have a fear he'd never talked about before. After he was marked with the Fearless rune, the characters asked Alec if he has a phobia of any sort, and it turns out that the fearless demon hunter actually is afraid of something. And no, it's not demons. Alex is actually afraid of spiders. A Shadowhunters fan also asked Cassandra a random fact about Alec on Twitter. She replied that he's also scared of umbrellas. Full-time rune cutter. Did you know that this show had to hire a full-time rune cutter that has to cut out each individual rune? The runes get applied to the actors, but the behind-the-scenes stuff requires a lot of cutting of a large paper with the prints of all the runes. Sounds like an interesting job, but we seriously can't imagine doing this every single hour of every day. It might take 4 minutes to apply each rune, but it takes a lot longer to have them perfectly cut. Keep on watching to hear how many runes there are in total. Ask me anything. Don't you just love it when you have a question about your favorite series? But it just so happens you can just go online and ask the writer. That's exactly what you can do if you love Shadowhunters. Along with a frequently asked questions section on her website, Cassandra Clare is extremely active on Tumblr and Twitter. She frequently replies to her fans and has in-depth discussions about some of your favorite characters. She also has educational resources for students writing an essay or people who actually want to become writers. So if you have a burning question for Cassandra, you know where to go to get the answer. Seraphina. Seraphina was the grandmother of Clary Fairchild featured in the City of Lost Souls book. She passed away after suffering from a heart attack, but Clary's dad had it his way, and if he'd actually known he had a daughter at the time, he wouldn't name her Clarissa, aka Clary. In fact, he often expressed his disapproval of the name. He'd name her after his own mother, so Clary could potentially have a completely different name, not only because of the writer herself, but also because of another book character. To be honest, the name Seraphina actually suits Clary. It's definitely a powerful name, but let's be honest, there's also nothing wrong with Clary's full name Clarissa. Clary's age. Did you know that the age of the characters in the books is actually a bit different than the age in the show? The show seemed to have aged up the characters. The books took place in 2007. Clary was born in 1991, which made her 16 years old in the very first book called City of Bones. And while the characters of the show did actually age up with the story, we know Clary was 18 in the beginning of the series. So how come she didn't have the same age on the show? Are the themes of the show too serious for a 16-year-old? Modeling career. Shadowhunters has an amazing cast, but did you know that there are several actors who've only had very little acting roles prior to their appearance on the show? For example, Emerald Tobia had a role in a telenovela and a leading role in Tattooed Love, but before she made her way on the TV screens, she was actually a model. She was in several beauty pageants as a teenager and then started her modeling career before diving into acting. Though despite her early modeling career, we hope that she never leaves the acting world. Football player. We're telling you, this show is living proof that talented actors come from all sorts of backgrounds. Who would have thought that a football player would become a werewolf in Shadowhunters? Yep, Luke Garroway, aka Isaiah Mustafa, actually tried out for NFL teams and got signed to the practice squad. He also attended the Seattle Seahawks training camp. Isaiah also wanted to be a teacher, but decided to pursue an acting career instead. We're pretty sure his life would have been completely different if he actually ended up playing for Seattle Seahawks. Old Spice commercials. Speaking of Isaiah, here's an interesting fact. If Luke Garraway's face looked familiar but you can't remember where you saw him before, this might help refresh your memory. Remember those old school Old Spice commercials from 2010? Isaiah actually got his first glimpse of fame after he was featured in the Man Your Man Could Smell Like commercial. The hilarious commercial showed Isaiah coming out of the shower telling the ladies that although their man might not look like him, he could smell like him if he used Old Spice. Yep, that's the same guy that you see on Shadowhunters. Tattoos. Some actors are incredibly appreciative of the roles that open doors to new projects. And since most actors from the show started out in very humble roles, they wanted to make their time on Shadowhunters really memorable. So memorable, they actually got a tattoo of the angelic rune. Both Katherine McNamara and Dominic Sherwood have a small angelic rune tattoo. Dominic's is on his calves, and Katherine's is on the side of her heel. Now that is some true dedication to a series and an awesome way to never forget a life-changing experience. Dedicated fan base. There's a reason why the Shadowhunters books were turned into a series. This series have an incredibly dedicated fan base. The first season of Shadowhunters averaged at almost 1 million viewers aged between 18 and all the way up to 49. The second season's average was 0.6 million, but it's safe to say that many people were just as excited to read the books. The show has a lot of fans that write their own fan fictions, as well as those that submit fan art, but more about that in just a bit. Cassandra's approval. The changes you see on the show were all approved by Cassandra, who actually visited the set for the first time in July 2016. For Alberto Rosend, aka Simon, this has been an honoring experience as he said he was quite a fanboy. Cassandra said she's extremely happy with the choices the show has made, even though they might have been slightly different from the books. While sometimes the writers of the books really don't like the way the producers are turning their show to life, this wasn't the case for Cassandra. She encouraged the cast to tell the story in a new way and stop worrying about changing the characters. The Shadowhunter quality. Speaking of character change, have you noticed that all Shadowhunters have the most exceptional hair ever? It always looks immaculate no matter what they do. According to Matthew Daddario, aka Alec Lightwood, this is a Shadowhunter quality. He said that the elite force of fighting demons just needs to have fantastic hair. And apparently, this is something they talk about on the set. Going into battle and coming out of it with immaculate hair is apparently just an added bonus to being a Shadowhunter. We wonder if this also works on rolling out of the bed, because if so, we'd like to sign up to be Shadowhunters too. The title. We already talked about the fact that most of the names have been inspired by actual people, but you know where the name Shadowhunters came from? In one of her tweets, Cassandra revealed that her book editor was the one that actually came up with the term. She didn't say what she called the Shadowhunters before, but this just proves how important it is to get a second opinion on your work. Who knows? Your editor might actually coin a term that will turn into something much bigger than just one book. High five, Cassandra's editor! More characters. If you love Shadowhunters but want to see more characters, you absolutely have to check out the books. They feature one of our favorite characters ever called Christina. The coffee-addicted Shadowhunter speaks 7 languages, and she's just simply awesome in the books. She's also a character with strong religious beliefs and extremely nice to just about anyone. Seriously, we still wonder why she wasn't chosen for the TV show. A Shadowhunter addicted to coffee? Yes, please! Some of the TV characters are also largely different from the books, so if you want to see them in a different way, head to the library. No Limit Wardrobe. Magnus Bane was the one Shadowhunters character that was actually based on wardrobe alone. You probably already know that his wardrobe is absolutely exceptional and has no limits. His costume designers said that his fashion has no boundaries. When Harry comes in for a fitting, the designers just start with a base piece and then experiment with some of the craziest details ever. And hey, it definitely did the job. It was also revealed that the makeup team applies the glitter by hand. It turns out that working on the Shadowhunters set is extremely time-consuming. Shades of Red. Although Cassandra did tell the team that they can recreate the Shadowhunter world in whatever way they want, the producers still wanted to make sure to get a couple of things right. CLARY'S red hair has been a huge debate for fans that came completely enchanted by CLARY'S red hair in the books. The show's hairstyle explained that it took a lot, and we mean a lot of tries to get that perfect shade of red for CLARY'S hair. They decided to go with a natural ginger hair to add a warmer red tone that wouldn't appear as fake, and if you ask us, it worked. Fan art. The show really takes into consideration what fans think or want to see from it, which, to be honest, is pretty awesome because we all know that there are people out there who absolutely dislike certain TV show adaptations. So in order to find the perfect shade of red for Clary's hair and capture some of the other looks, the team actually went on Tumblr. They printed out the fan art they thought best emulated the character's unique features. It's pretty awesome that the team actually got inspired by fan art, especially since fans spent hours on hours illustrating some of the most impressive pieces ever. 79 runes. So how many runes are there in total? We all know the Shadowhunters have the marks of Raziel as runic language, which grants powers beyond mundanes. The runes are applied directly to the bodies of Shadowhunters. There are 77 runes out there in total, but in order to make sure the show is different from the books, the team added 2 new runes. So there are 79 runes in total. The new runes added are the Sight in the Dark One and the Shape-Shifting rune. Think about the rune cutting that includes for the people that have to do this as their full-time job. Taylor Swift Association. Dominic Sherwood, aka Jace, has actually appeared in Taylor Swift's music video for the song Style back in 2015. Yup, that's right. As of April 2018, more than 500 million people saw the music video, but not a lot of them knew that the man with the daydream look in his eyes is actually Jace. Taylor probably didn't write that song about him, but hey, we'll take it. Who would have thought that Jace, the expert Shadowhunter, was once someone Taylor Swift almost kissed? Seriously, watch the video if you haven't seen it yet. He does an absolutely amazing job looking all dreamy. He really does have that James Dean daydream look in his eyes, doesn't he? Good job, Dom! And that's all for our video. Let us know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.